Okay. This session is Charles' session, named Debian Toradex, or how we use Debian containers in an embedded system. So please enjoy this session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello there. So yeah, it's not my first time here at DebConf or even at the stage, but it's my first time alone, so bear with me and I'll try to not be too much nervous. So today, basically, I'm presenting what I do in my day job, aside from Debian stuff, although they are related. So first things, you may or may not know me, so I'm going to introduce myself. Then I'm going to ask some questions. I will need your help to answer those. Then I'm going to say briefly where I work and what we do. Talk a little bit about containers because it's most of my time I spend there, so yeah. And then the packaging. Why do we do packaging in there? What's the reason? How we do it? Why? Although it's a 20-minute talk, so I need to be very quickly, but I'm planning to have 5 minutes for questions, and I love to have questions, so please pay attention. And then we do the QA session. So this presentation, at least the content, is licensed under CC by SA 4.0, so yeah. So who am I? That's a tough question, but every time I wake up, I try to answer it. So I'm a computer engineer from Brazil. I've always liked InfoSec stuff and free software stuff and operating systems. So I've been a member of those two groups there that are extracurricular groups that we have, extension groups back at university. This is a photo from, I'm sorry, a Fedora release party that we had there. But I was there with my t-shirt, Debian t-shirt, and presenting things about Debian on their release party, so I call it even. I'm also a Debian contributor since 2020. I've been mostly doing localization, meaning translation to Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and also packaging. And recently, I've become a Debian developer. This is a photo from my first DebConf, which was in 2022 back at Kosovo. And in my day job, I'm a software engineer at Toradex. This is a photo from one of lessons we had there, a course on Yocto and stuff. So, I need your help now. I'd like to know who you are. So I'm going to do a few questions, and you can raise your hand if that's true, if the answer is yes. So who here is familiar with embedded systems? Lots of you. Yeah, nice. Who has already used embedded systems? Okay, lots of people too. Who is familiar with Debian? That's awesome. Who has used Debian? And who uses it on a regular basis? Okay, now I can come out of the stage and go home because you know everything, so yeah. So who has used Debian on an embedded system? Okay, that's a lot less people. So yeah, maybe I can stay here and talk a little bit about it. So I work at this company that is called Toradex. We are mostly known for doing system on modules or compute on modules, whatever you want to call it. Small things like this that you can plug into a baseboard and make a computer out of it. But we also do software for those. Basically, we maintain this Horizon thing that is our operating system. I'll talk a little more about it later. But yeah, we also support Android, Windows CE, although I think now it's end of life, thank God. Android too. And we do cloud services for management, remote updates, everything you want to do with cloud services. The typical kind of applications that we have, it's healthcare, it's industrial and robotics, transportation, agriculture, renewable energy and smart cities. So everything that you can put a compute module in, embed it in an application, and send it over to other people to use or sell or whatever. But now for the good stuff, like I have 10 minutes, 5 for questions. I'm going to try to make it. Basically, what we call Horizon is an operating system because on embedded systems, we usually want something that is simple, that is very lean, so you don't have that many build dependencies. You kind of control what the build dependencies are. You can generate a software bill of materials of it because you want to be sure that you are only including that stuff, and you can check afterwards what you did, what you included, and you can like provide to some government agency or regulatory agency that build of materials. But you also want something that is easy to use. Okay, fine, that most Unix-based operating systems are pretty easy to use for us. And a standard platform. You know, this is a bit more difficult because we are using Yocto and we are like doing a lean system, and it's not usually the regular stuff that you are going to have on your computer installed where you develop your stuff, because it's going to be smaller, it's going to be like very, very restrictive environment. So what do we have as a standard platform? This is a mail from Greg Crowe-Hartman. He's the stable maintainer of the kernel tree. He's the maintainer of the stable kernel tree. Okay, now I got it right. And he sent a mail last year, like saying, after Android, Debian is by far the largest Linux user, and the Debian kernel developers do an awesome job of tracking stable kernel releases and all. So basically, Debian runs over the world. So which tool is easier and more of a standard platform than Debian? Debian. So basically what we do we do provide a very, very small and lean and controlled operating system that is Horizon. And then we provide a container engine, a runtime container engine, so people can use basically Debian over it. So they can have the most used tools, things they are used to build on and all, and they have it with the container system. So basically here you have the standard system base, the Horizon, and then you have the runtime engine to run containers over it. So a little bit about containers for those who are not so acquainted with it. It's basically a way to provide an application, to provide an isolated environment to an application. Basically, you can like inject all dependencies and have all dependencies for your application, the libraries and everything inside the container, and you can like share the kernel with the host operating system. So basically now here we have, in there we have like what we commonly know as virtual machines. They have their own guest OS, they have their own kernel and all. And on this side we have like the container runtime and all these applications embedded in this container image running over the same operating system as your host machine. So in there you get a low CPU and memory cost and overhead to run your applications. But you also have a lot of access control, fine-grained access control and resource management with this container, so it's nice. And people nowadays are mostly used to it, so you can use Docker or Podman or Incus to manage these containers and all that. And so why do we do Debian-based containers? Yes, Debian. It's a big project. It's a seasoned project. We've been here for more than 30 years, so we know how to do stuff. We know how to provide a very, very, very stable environment with a security team work behind the curtains to have all the CVE fixes backported to our stable release. Everyone, I hope, everyone here has heard about Debian one time in their lives, so it's very familiar. As Sam will present today, it's a very well-tested operating system, so basically everyone knows, can be sure that your application is going to work as intended, and no one is breaking stuff that they shouldn't. And so we also have a long maintenance support. For stable releases in Debian, we have 3 years of support, security support, so bug fixes and CVE fixes are applied to Debian stable. But also we have the LTS and extended LTS support. The extended LTS is not provided by Debian, but from a third-party company. But they make the source code and the packages available to everyone. So you can get up to 10 years of support in Debian. So it's very nice for embedded system. People tend to like that. And also, I mean, everyone must have seen apt install and some name of something, an application or whatever you want to call it. So this is a Raspberry Pi, so most people know them. They've become very famous for the last 10 years. Basically, they provide a Debian-based image for their Raspberry Pis. So everyone is kind of familiar with. What we do is a bit different. As I said, we have a lean operating system based on Yocto, and then we provide a Docker runtime, and we provide also the Docker images to run. So basically, we provide we are basing on this Debian official image. It's not official, but almost. We based on that, and then we add some stuff to our images, like the good stuff to get hardware acceleration, to have GPU encoding, decoding, VPU, and whatever people are calling it now, TPU, so you can do like machine learning on it. And that's really why we need it to do this packaging work that we do, because we have some hardware-specific programs and forks and code, and we need to get it packaged for our own hardware. So really, we are really talking about some downstream stuff, some modifications on upstream software to work with our hardware. So mostly no GPU. It's a bit of a pain. We have also TPU, that's tensor, forget the acronym. Seeing the extensions for GPU stuff and for other software. And usually this comes as big changes on upstream projects. libdrm always is the one that is forked and changed quite a bit. Wayland, Weston, which is a compositor, a Wayland compositor. So we have to work on that to get it packaged and ready for our containers so people can use it. And we do it using Salsa CI. We're using sbuild, git build package, Lintian, so we can ensure that our packages are always up to date and ready and are completely correct. We also do fix bugs that we eventually found. I always try to push people to, if you find a problem that is affecting Debian 2, please fix there and send a patch to the maintainers so we can get everything ready in Debian also. We also do tests using hardware farms, like we have a lot of devices under a farm back in somewhere in Switzerland that runs these tests every day so we can be sure that we are not introducing any bugs. And also, as I said, some packages that are really a problem for us, libdrm, GStreamer, OpenCV, TensorFlow, Weston, Chromium, they are all packages that need some changes to have hardware acceleration. So those are the ones that we have to package or repackage. And also our goal here is to make the software development for embedded systems as close as possible to a regular desktop application, because people are usually okay with regular desktop application development, but when you go to embedded systems, it's a bit hard. So we really want to make things easier for people. So bonus contents here. What else we use Debian? So obviously we need to make our packages available somehow. So we do need to maintain a feed, and we use aptly to do it. I think all of our servers, but I'm not sure if really all of them, but quite a bunch runs Debian, so yeah. Our notebooks, this very notebook is running Debian. A lot of notebooks back at work are running Debian. So this is a photo of our feed. This is a photo of the main notebook I used there. And this is a photo from our MacBook running Debian in there. It's a notebook that I have when I need to test building natively ARM code, so it's also running Debian. And the thing that happened, before I entered there, we had 2 users using Debian. Now we have 10 users, approximately, which means that I have to be the technical support for 10 people now, which, yes. I did go over a bunch of stuff very quickly, so I would expect you to not understand anything, or at least to have a lot of questions. So now it's time for it. So if you have a question, raise your hand. Thanks. Do we have questions? Yes, we do have one question. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for this presentation. So, can we run Horizon on other boards than the one made by Toradex, or is it something you support or expect some people to do?
I'm not sure. Our Horizon OS is open source, and we have this thing called Common Horizon that is an initiative to support more boards. I do know that we support Raspberry Pis, 4 and 5 for sure, 3, I think 2. We do support some other boards, and everything that we can get our hands on, we try to port Horizon to it, but I can't be sure for that specific board we'll have support.
Well, Raspberry Pi was already something. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. My question is what was the hardest problem when you're trying to use the container?
I'm sorry, what were the hardest
Program
to package?
No, problem, issue.
Oh, so we have a lot of downstream code, and sometimes people like to mess with the ABI of programs. And so that is a bit of a painful stuff. So maybe they want to support, I don't know, hardware acceleration on their GPU, and they start to messing around with libdrm or Weston or Wayland. And so they break the ABI, and so all the programs that were compiled against the Debian's version will work on Debian, but won't work on our repackaged system because some people messed up with the ABI, so that's not great. It is usually a problem that we face, and it's very hard to deal with. Also, some binary blobs that some vendors give to us that were compiled against like a newer version of glibc, and we have only the binaries. And Debian stable uses a bit of an older version, not that much older, but it's incompatible, and then we can do anything with these binaries, so we have to like try to fix things. So those are the main problems.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. What's the use? Do you have a business case for Horizon and Debian on the container?
Oh, yes. I mean, so, okay. So the first thing is that you have your application and your OS separated. So if you need to update your application, you just update a container, and that's pretty easy to do and make sure that everything is done correctly. If you try to do a whole system upgrade and you have your application in there and some things fails, it's not so easy to recover from. So, I mean, yes, you can do an A/B partition, you can do other stuff, but it's a bit easy to identify that when using containers. So you just update the application, the OS stays the same, so you are pretty sure that you are going to boot after the next reboot. So that's relieving.
Yeah, that's very cool, but my question is mostly, do you have something like this being used? Because I know Toradex has devices that they design and have themselves, like not just a Raspberry Pi, but they have their own devices.
Yeah.
Do you have a case where this is being used with Debian on top at clients or whatever?
Yes, we do. I should have brought something, but we have a lot of stuff. We do have some guys doing an application for a bar. Like you goes in there and you drink one beer or two, and then you want to test to see if you are drunk or if you can drive. And so you go there and it will tell you they are using our containers on top of our Horizon. But we have a lot more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for great session, Charles. Thank you for joining this session, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being Partmeister.